What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. Today we're gonna be making a beginner tutorial video for Street Fighter 6, covering modern controls, classic controls, and how exactly do you approach playing Street Fighter just in general, and how to win in Street Fighter 6. I just want to give a big shout out to my man Jordan Cobb 2855 for suggesting this video in the comments. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, and hopefully this video is exactly what you're looking for in terms of learning modern controls and or classic controls, and learning how to win in Street Fighter 6. So we're going to be covering the controls and the concepts that will lead you to victory in this game. So without further ado, let's jump right into fighting ground and go into training mode so we can cover all of these things in Street Fighter 6. And hopefully this helps you out. Please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me know that this video helped you out. I really am curious to see how you guys feel in terms of improvement after watching this video, from where you are to where you want to be.
Fighting ground. Practice. Training.
Y'all try to play the sidelines. Yeah. Make my own smart choice. It's time to heat up for the fight of my life. Show 'em what I got, cause you know that it's my time. Brought till I fall, boy. Give it my all, boy. Got me feeling like I can fight them all, boy. The time has come, the bell is rung. No weekends, yeah, you know.
And while we're covering modern controls, I'll be sure to include this little modern control this picture of like the modern controls, what the buttons are, so then that way you guys know what I mean when I say assist or drive parry, drive impact, and so on. So that'll be on screen. Okay, so here we are with the modern controls. Make sure you restore default settings in case you were practicing anything and you had any previous settings set up. And then we'll continue from here. Okay, so first things first, we have our modern controls here. We'll cover movement. Obviously, back moves you back, forward moves you forward. Up makes you jump, down makes you crouch. Pressing back twice makes you dash backwards. Pressing forward twice makes you dash forwards. And that's pretty much all of the movement options. The only other real movement option that there is drive rush from a parry, which is an empty drive rush, which is but you do it by holding R1, which is drive parry, and then press forward twice. to rush forward, and those are pretty much your movement options. And you can use that to fake out. You see, rush up, fake out, rush up, grab, right? Conditions your opponent to grab you or to grab tuck. So when you dash in and you dash back, they'll do a grab animation, and from here you can punish them, which we'll cover later. But I just wanted you to start thinking in that way. Think how you can use your movement to force your opponent to make a mistake or hit a button when they shouldn't, so you can take advantage of that situation. And the more you think in this kind of way, the better you'll develop in terms of fighting other human opponents, because ultimately winning in this game doesn't come down to what special moves you can do, doesn't come down to what combos you can do, but it ultimately comes down to how well you can defend and how well you can condition your opponent to make mistakes, and then you capitalize on those mistakes. So thinking that way is what's going to lead you to victory. And the purpose of modern controls is basically to allow you to do special moves a lot easier, which I'll cover in a little bit. The next thing we'll be covering is normal attacks. You have square as your light attacks. If you tap square multiple times, you get a basic combo, 3 hits. If your character is fast enough, you can actually use that to beat a drive impact, but that won't work with Ken. It's character specific, so I'm not going to get into that. Last thing I want to do is confuse you. So we'll keep it simple. Even though I already gave you some advanced tactics when I was describing movement, but just so you can start thinking that way goes a long way to victory in this game. So in modern controls, square is your light attack, X is your medium attack, and circle is your heavy attack. And in modern controls, you don't have exact control over what move comes out. So you see light is punches, medium is kicks, and then heavy is also a kick. So you can't do a heavy punch, which is one of the differences between modern controls and classic controls, which we'll cover when I do the classic controls. And then you'll notice if you crouch, you have different crouching moves. See, now light, which is square, down and square turns into a kick. But you'll notice that it changes on the second hit to a punch because it combos. Same thing with medium. There's always going to be a medium kick. You can't do a medium punch crouching. And with heavy, it's his anti-air. Instead of it being the sweep, which most people are used to. Instead of it being a sweep, which most people are used to, it is the anti-air. So down and heavy is what you'll use if the opponent jumps in on you. This is the move to use. Then, of course, the same thing applies with jumping attacks. You can jump in with a light. You can jump in with X, which is medium kick. And you'll notice with Ken, he can cross up with X, which is the medium attack button in modern controls, and also with square. And the purpose of a cross-up attack is if you jump at the opponent and you cross them up and they block in the wrong direction, they're going to get hit, which can lead to combo opportunities and so on. And then, of course, the heavy version is the heavy punch, and not the heavy kick. And of course, to block attacks, you just hold back. Here, let me set up Ryu dummy setting. Recording, here we go. Just gonna throw punches. Okay, there we go. You just hold back to block. All right, we'll do down, back block. So to block low attacks, right, back just does regular block, and then to block low attacks, it's down and back at the same time. So you crouch and you hold back, and that will block both low attacks, like this. And it'll also block medium attacks like this. But if they do overhead, which is forward and medium punch for Ryu, right? You can't block this move crouching. It hits you anyway because it's considered an attack that comes from above. So the only way to block an overhead is by standing. So even though it looks like it would be blocked by a crouching attack, it will not. You have to be aware of overheads and making sure you block those by standing up. But that'll come with experience. Then there's grabbing, which is performed by pressing square and X. This is the same in both modern and classic controls. You have a regular grab, and you have a back grab with throat, which changes your position on the screen from the right side to the left side, or from the left side to the right side, depending on where you start the move. And that's done by pressing back and square and X, which is the light and medium attack buttons. And the same is also done if you get grabbed, the throw tech. And you have to time it perfectly as soon as you get grabbed in order to tech the throw, like that. Now we can cover special moves. Special moves in modern controls are performed with either forward, down, or back and the triangle button. And if you want to do the OD versions or EX versions, you hold R2 and press either forward triangle, down triangle, or back triangle. So it'll look like this. Forward triangle does the Shoryuken, down in triangle does the Jinrai kick, back in triangle is the Dragon Lash kick, and all of them do the medium versions of the moves. And if you hold R2 and do the same moves, it does the EX version of them. And that's how you do the EX versions of your special moves in modern controls. However, what you can do in modern controls using the light, medium, and heavy buttons, if you know the move inputs, you can do the heavy version of the Shoryuken, the medium version, the light version. Same thing with the Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku. You can do the heavy version medium version, and light version. Same thing with the Jinrai kick, light version, medium version, and heavy version. So I suggest you check out the command list for your character when using modern controls to see what you have access to. I'm sure with other characters, there may be things like that where two moves use the same command input, so you may not have access to the light, medium, and heavy versions of those moves. So that'll depend on the character. And here you can see all the unique attacks you have access to. And your assisted combos. And now we can cover the super arts. Super arts are performed in modern controls by pressing a direction and triangle and heavy attack. So forward triangle and heavy does the level 1. Back triangle and circle does the level 2. And then down triangle and circle does the level 3. So this is one of the advantages of modern controls, since you don't have to do the actual input to do the special move, which you can still do the input to perform the special move, just like you would in Classic. But what this allows for is for immediate reactions. So level 1 special supers are invincible and can only be hit by projectiles. So if somebody tries to throw a punch at you, right, then it will not work. So let's record just a whole bunch of punches. Right? Okay, let him throw a whole bunch of punches. See, he can't hit you. So that's he won't hit you out of it. It is strike invulnerable, but projectile, if it were to do a Hadouken, it will hit you. So that's how you use their level 1. The level 1, besides the fact that it comes out instantly, you can instantly react to things, whereas with classic controls, you won't really be able to instantly react to it because it won't come out fast enough, because you have to do the moves. So you have to rely more on the predictability of your opponent and knowing what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, so that you can execute the move in classic controls. Whereas with modern controls, you can use it on reaction because it's a simple button input of just forward, triangle, and circle. Now, of course, we have the drive actions, which is L1 is your drive impact, which takes only 1 bar of your drive gauge. Then we have drive parry, which you hold down, it'll parry any attacks, and your drive gauge goes down slowly, but it gets filled every time you block an attack. Then there is perfect parry, which is a little bit difficult to do. There you go. And with perfect parry, the best thing you can do when you perfect parry is go for a basic combo, because things get heavily scaled. So when you do a perfect parry, you want to avoid doing any high damaging combos, because it gets heavily scaled due to it being a perfect parry. And you only have 3 frames to land a perfect parry, so not as easy to land when they're just doing straight punches, as opposed to a predictable move that you'll know what it is. Let me see if I could try to get it again. So yeah, after a perfect parry, don't go for any big combos that use meter, anything like that. Don't do it. Just don't do anything like that. Don't spend your meter. It's not worth it. Go for a throw or go for something simple that just doesn't use any meter, because the damage scaling is heavy on a perfect parry. Unless you're close to killing the opponent and it's worth it to end the round, then go for it.
I don't have time to play.
Then we have Drive Rush, which can now be performed after any cancelable move. By pressing the parry button after any cancelable move, see? And that takes 3 bars of drive gauge. So even if you do an assisted combo, let me try to think. Okay, for example, right? We got this. This is gonna be a simple. Whoops! I pressed the wrong button. You want to press R1. So crouching square square gives you a combo, and then you could drive rush that, right? And then after you do that, you can go into any other combo you want. So for example, you would do down square square, down square square, R1, go for level 1. That's just an example, even though that didn't combo, but you can do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Clearly you can tell that I don't use modern controls much. And you'll see the difference once I move over to classic controls. But down light attack twice in rapid succession gives you that little combo. You can even cancel that into a Shoryuken, you see, and you get a combo that way. But the whole purpose of what I'm trying to show is you can go for a crouching low light attack, and then you can drive cancel that by pressing the parry button, which is R1, and then you can go into something else, you know, and it should combo as long as you are pressing the buttons in rapid succession. See, that was a 5-hit combo. That's just to give you an idea. You will have to experiment and see what works for the character you choose to play by just experimenting in training mode. But that's just to give you an idea. Then we have drive reversal. Which is done by blocking an attack. Once you're blocking, you press forward and then drive impact, which is L1 in this case. So I'll do it crouching. By pressing forward and L1, it does like a get off me reversal move. And that move, the drive reversal, is pretty weak. Only use it when you know that they're committed to a string and a combo and that you're actually going to hit them with it. Because if you miss with it, right, let's say you get pushed back. Okay, that's still hit because, well, let's say that they do a move that pushes you back and you try to drive reversal, you'll miss, and then it'll leave you in a state where they can attack you and you'll be punished because you'll be at a disadvantage. So just use drive reversal sparingly. And then the only other thing is empty drive rush, which you could use to get in, fake out, and also do combo. Right, so let's say, because what happens when you do a move out of drive reversal, it gives you advantage. More advantage on your moves, so you can combo things that won't normally combo. What else do we have here? And the drive rush cancel again can only be done from cancelable moves like crouching medium attack can be drive cancel by pressing R1 as soon as it hits, and then you can go into another combo. So like for example, you do crouching medium kick, drive rush, and then press R2 and heavy punch to do an assisted combo. So you would do crouching, medium kick, drive rush, R2, circle, 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 and it'll automatically go into that combo, which is one of the automated combos or assisted combos which you could find in the command list. And that does decent damage. So that's one example right there. And drive impact, for example, can only be countered by drive impact itself or by using parry. So if Ryu's doing a drive impact, you can counter it by using a drive impact like that, or you can counter it by parry. And that'll counter it as well. And another thing to note is that parry can only be canceled into blocking. So if they do a drive impact and you decide to parry, you can cancel your parry animation right into blocking. That's very important to know. Because if you don't cancel your parry into a block animation, you're pretty much defenseless, because there is recovery to the drive rush animation, and during that recovery time you can't attack, so you can be attacked. So be aware of that. Now, one thing I did want to cover is burnout state. Okay, so now I'm in burnout. So when you run out of burnout, you get into this state, which is the only state in the game where you can take chip damage. Whereas if you see Ryu hits me, even though I'm blocking, I still take damage. Let me take off the refill. Okay, now you'll be able to see the damage. There you go. You see? I took damage even though I'm blocking. No matter what I do, I'm always going to take damage in burnout state. And what's worse, if you are in the corner and Ryu drive parries you and you hit the wall, you get into a dizzy state, which leads to a full combo. So just realize that in the corner, people are expecting you to drive impact. So if you're going to use drive impact in the corner, you want to condition your opponent, mix them up, grab them, and then, you know, boom, now you want to use it. And then go for a combo. But you don't want to do this, because this is what will happen. You don't want to do this. Just use an empty drive impact. That might work in low levels. That's not what I wanted to show you, but watch this. This is what will happen. they're gonna counter you with their drive impact, and then you're gonna get blown up with a combo. So just be wary of using drive impact in the corner. Think about it, mix it up between striking, throwing, jumping, confuse your opponent, whatever it is you gotta do, but mix it in. Don't just do it from far away, thinking you're gonna hit the opponent, and then you end up with this. That is what you don't want. Now, as far as combos in modern controls, just pressing R2 and then circle, it'll automatically do a combo for you, which is heavy attack. Heavy attack should have a combo, light attack should have a combo, and medium attack should have a combo. This is the media attack default combo. And then the square combo. So you want to definitely learn what your cancelable moves are, so you can learn, for example, crouching medium kick is a cancelable move. So you can combo it into specials and things like that. So you want to figure out your character's cancelable moves, so you can learn what moves you can use to combo into supers, like that, for example. Another thing to cover is recovery when you get knocked down. So let's say Ryu knocks you down. There you go. Now, once you get knocked down, there's two ways to recover. The default recovery, where it leaves you in place, and then there's when you press two punches or two of the attack buttons at the same time, medium and heavy, you do a back roll or a back recovery, which will create more distance between you and your opponent. So it depends on what you're going for when you wake up, but in some cases you'd want a back roll depending on what your opponent is doing, and in some cases you'd want to just stay in place and get up. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to modern controls. It's basically here to help ease you into Street Fighter 6 in terms of not having to learn how to do special moves. You got one button special moves using forward, down, and back. The biggest advantages of modern controls are the instant supers, which you can use to react to opponents. This is very, very, very helpful, and is one of the best things about modern controls. And of course, you know, the assisted combos are also very useful, especially when you don't know any combos. But these aren't the things that are going to help you win in Street Fighter. We'll cover that later. Now we can go into classic controls.
Been trying me, I learned all my lessons. I realized I gotta kill all my blessings. I'm working hard every day to be a man.
All right, now we're going to jump into covering classic controls. And here are the major differences between modern controls and classic controls. All the concepts I cover, along with drive rush and all of that, you still grab using square and X. You still drive parry by holding triangle and circle. You got light punch on square, medium punch on triangle, high punch on R1, light kick on X, medium kick on circle, and heavy kick on R2. Right? And with that, if you go and check out the command list, you'll see you have access to all the moves and their inputs and their light version, medium version, and heavy version for all of them. And all of them have different uses which I'm not here to break down Ken. I'm here to just break down the general controls. Same thing with the super arts. See, this is where modern controls are better, because with super arts, whether it's light, medium, or heavy, it makes no difference. But you still have to recognize something is happening, and then you have to put in these inputs and react to your opponent, which is way harder than just pressing forward and 2 buttons and getting it instantly. So that is one of the biggest advantages that modern control has over classic controls. However, you do have way more access to unique attacks like Chin Buster, which you don't have access to in modern controls, at least not that I'm aware of. If there might be a way to use it, I don't know. And of course, all the drive moves. So an example of a combo that you can do, and this combo you can actually do in modern controls as well, right? See that? And that's another thing. Timing matters and all of that when it comes to combos, which is something you don't have to worry about when using modern controls, because you'll most likely be using the automated combos that modern controls provides. So you don't have to worry about timing until you are actually using classic controls. The advantages of classic controls, however, is, for example, Dragon Lash kick. You can do the light version, you can do the medium version. And so you see how I showed you that light kick and light punch combo in modern controls. In order for you to do that in modern controls, you just press light punch twice, or light attack twice, and it automatically does that combo for you. Whereas in classic controls, you actually have to press down X and then get the timing for square so that it links. But so the advantages of classic controls is you have access to all the moves, light, medium, heavy. And of course all the drive impact moves, which is square and triangle. To grab, you can grab with square and triangle, which I've already said, but so grab is square and triangle. Triangle and circle is parry, and heavy punch and heavy kick is drive impact. Also, L1 is drive impact in classic controls, is a shortcut button which you could use. But all the same concepts and everything I said about modern controls applies to classic controls. The only difference is with classic controls, you just have more control and more options in terms of how to control your character and what moves you can do. The only thing is you also have to memorize and learn the inputs. So if you're a beginner, I recommend learning modern controls, getting used to it, and just playing with that until you get comfortable with classic controls. Other than that, there's not much to cover on classic controls. And now we can get into how do you win as Street Fighter. These are the things, this is by far the most important part of the entire video. Even though having gone through modern controls, having gone through classic controls, this is the most important thing. There's one thing you take out of this video is this.
I don't have time to play.
The most important thing, whether you're using modern controls or classic controls, is learning spacing. What do I mean by spacing? How far your moves reach. See? You want to get used to hitting opponents with moves right at the edge of at the end of your attack, because that will A, give you more chance to recover, and B, put you in a position where you can hit the opponent, but the opponent can't hit you. No matter what move he does, if I hit him like that, he'll be out of range and he will not be able to hit me. Same thing with heavy kick, where if you get just the very edge, he cannot punish you because you're still too far away from any of his hits being able to reach you. So learning spacing, very important. Also learning moves that put your opponent in a state where they have to recover longer, like a heavy punch, right? This will give you the ability to combo with drive rush and get things like that. So learning spacing of your moves, learning how to keep your opponent out of range from them being able to hit you, and most important, learning anti-airs. In modern controls, it's down and circle. In classic controls, is down and R1, which is the crouching heavy punch, which you get that in modern controls by pressing down and circle or down in R1. Learning this one thing is going to help you win so much, because now you'll be able to control your opponent from jumping in on you. Let's say they jump in with a crouching, jumping heavy attack like this, right? This is where learning timing comes into play and learning your spacing. What's good about Ken, though, is that's not his only anti-air. His medium Shoryuken is invulnerable to aerial attacks, and it'll always anti-air. So if you got a special move that is meant to anti-air, like a Shoryuken, use that. So Shoryuken or crouching heavy punch are your anti-airs with Ken. It varies from character to character. You'll have to experiment with depending on where your character is. But whatever upward moving move that is like this, it's your anti-air, and that's definitely something you want to learn to prevent your opponents from jumping in on you. See how it works almost every single time. Never fails. And the same thing applies with modern controls. So in this case, with modern controls, you would literally just have to press forward and special move, and you'll do the medium Shoryuken, which is the anti-air. So, the most important thing and what you want to learn when playing Street Fighter, especially as a beginner, is learning how to condition your opponent to do what you want. So things like grabbing them, drive rushing, grabbing them again, drive rushing, and then back up, and they're gonna go for a grab, for example, and you can take advantage of that. And when you back up, you hit them with a heavy punch because they're gonna whiff. So you want to think like that. Don't start flow charting and fall into a pattern and doing the same thing over and over again. And I have a tendency to do that. Because what will happen is your opponent is going to recognize the pattern, and if they know how to play, they're going to take advantage of that, and they're going to wait for you to do the same thing, and they're going to blow you up because they know how to counter your move because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So you want to mix it up, mix in your throws, mix in your combos. Mix in your drive impacts and get them to guess what you're gonna do so you can take advantage of their mistakes. So learning spacing, learning anti-airs, and learn how to mix up your moves. That is all you need to win in Street Fighter. And if you're able to master conditioning your opponent to do the moves you want that you know how to counter, that's gonna put you well on your way to being at least gold rank in Street Fighter. Just by having anti-airs, knowing spacing. Like there's this guy that literally all he does is punches and kicks. And if he knows his spacing and his timing, like when you're about to strike and he hits you first, things like that, that is all you need to win. You don't even need to use a special move. Literally, you could just win with one button. Knowing your spacing, learning to block your opponent's strings, and anti-airing. That is it. That is what you need to win in Street Fighter. Not about fancy combos. Though fancy combos help when you get to higher levels, that's going to definitely make a difference because one combo can make or break a win at high level. If you're a beginner, just being able to counter your opponent through knowing your spacing, knowing your moves, knowing where your anti-airs are, that is all you need, and you'll be well on your way to victory in Street Fighter 6. Anyways, once again, shout out to my man for suggesting the making of this video, Jordan Cobb 2855. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope this helps you out, and I'll extend this to you if you're interested. Add me on CFN, Oni Liger, and I will personally help you train and get better at this game. I promise. All you gotta do is hit me up. And I'll extend this even further to anybody who's a beginner, who wants to get into Street Fighter, who wants to get better at it. Comment down below, let me know, and we could set up a play session, and I'll be more than happy to be your training dummy and help you learn all these concepts and how you can apply it to get more wins in Street Fighter 6. Thank you guys for checking out the video. I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay blessed, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and peace out.